There's moose sign. That is a well-beaten path. Lots of snow left yet. Ooh, it is not spring on top of the mountain. Hey guys, thanks for joining me. The plan for today was originally to hike in through the transmission line behind Massey Drive, and the destination we were hoping for was Breeches Pond. Breeches Pond is a small pond in behind Marble Mountain. See if I can insert some sort of graphic mappy thing here to show you where it's to. So the plan was to hike in as a day hike, have some dinner. I did bring all my gear with me with the hopes of doing an overnight hike, depending on how much snow was left. And I don't know if you can see behind me, but what I've discovered is that the trails are impassable past here. I'm at a small pond on the transmission line here now. The ponds are still frozen at this point. I've just hiked up another couple of 100 feet past me here, and the trails all have 2 to 3 feet of snow on them. I'm in very small hikers. It is very hard going. I found a lovely little spot here where it's moderately dry. I think we should light on a little fire. I'm going to cook up some dinner, do a little bit of exploring around without the pack, and then we'll make our way back out and hopefully get a ride back to the house. The main reason for coming out today is kind of knock the dust off the gear. Mostly the gear meaning these guys, because I haven't gone on a hike in the entire winter. I haven't done a whole lot. I've got the long range traverse trip booked now, and we've got to get back in shape. So I did come out with a full weight pack. I've got all my gear in there, the sleeping gear, tent, food. I did bring a couple of beer with me, because the only thing better than gear reviews in the woods are beer reviews in the woods. So I stopped in at the liquor store and got a couple of new IPAs that I haven't tried yet. Actually, that's a lie. I brought one that I did try before and one that I haven't tried yet. And it's in a black can, so that should be good. Seen lots of cool wildlife so far. Didn't get a picture, I saw a caribou a few minutes ago, but he was on his way in through the woods. Before I got the camera up, he was gone. I did see grouse. Saw a very inquisitive squirrel who I thought was going to follow me, but he changed his mind and left. I was surprised. I saw frogs already. I figured it'd be too early to see frogs yet. No, this time of year you'd just see tadpoles in filling all the ponds and the little streams and stuff, little still water spots next to the trail. But there's some big frogs, and I actually saw one digging into, I guess it was where he hibernated over the winter. Strange to see. Hoping that caribou's still there on the way out. I'm essentially on top of Marble Mountain. I'll show you in a minute. I'm one hill over from the Doppler station, which is the weather station right on top of Marble Mountain. So yeah, we got some elevation on here. This GPS is the worst GPS to read in the world. How can I have lost my GPS signal on top of a fucking mountain? Pardon my French. When in doubt, yeah, okay. 1,471 feet elevation. So we're not quite down at sea level at the moment. Not surprising that there's still a lot of snow around. That GPS is absolutely useless. You can't even read it. Oh well. So a bit of elevation. We're up in the mountains. Let's get to work and make a little fire. There's no need to cut any live wood with so much fallen trees around. It'll be fun. got bleeding a lot left. I'm going to gather up a little bit more of this. And then we'll see what we can do about a fire. So we do want to try out a new piece of kit that I picked up. I'm hoping it's going to come in handy. I picked up a little small solar panel, which from the limited testing I did at home, it seems like it works great and will charge my phone. It seems to work fine for USB devices. It actually started charging my camera batteries. But for the time being, seeing it is such a beautiful sunny day, let's get this plugged in and see if I can at least charge my phone up. I guess it's not going to work unless I open it. The only drawback I've seen with this, it has a built-in USB port inside this little zippered pouch. The port itself is right next to the zipper and on the wrong side of the zipper, so you can't zip up the pouch. So now you've got these adapters and stuff falling all over the place. But let's get this plugged in and get this opened up. We'll set it out on this rock and see what we can do in terms of charging. There we go. I don't really need to charge my phone. It's just, I think it's still at 85% right now. But I'll just leave this here in full sun. I'll check back in a little bit, see how we're doing. This is not a long-term fire. I'm not keeping this going for hours and hours on end. I'm not even planning on cooking on it. It's more just for the sake of having a fire while you're in the woods. I put down a piece of birch bark first because this is actually a little divot where there's even standing water here. If this was something that I was intending on keeping going, I mean, I would have dug down, I would have removed this stuff and the grass around. But there's no chances that this is going to burn because I built a fire on top of water. Regardless, when I'm finished, I'm going to take, there's snow all over the place. I'm going to douse this out and I'm going to completely cover this with snow. I'm going to let this burn away to nothing, down to coals, and then we'll ensure that it's out before we leave the area. maybe I'll make a little gear video when I get back. Just kind of go through what I was intending on bringing out here for an overnight trip. Because I did do some upgrades this year to my gear. Some of which I was going to try out tonight. Well, one being the solar panel that I showed you earlier. I did bring a new my new tent, which I picked up because the past couple of years I've been strictly a hammock camper. And if you've never camped in a hammock, oh, I highly recommend it. It has changed my views on sleeping in the woods. Since the first night I tried hammock camping, I was hooked. I immediately went out and bought I've got a Hennessy Expedition asymmetrical hammock. It's built-in bug netting, big rain fly. You can stay completely dry, you're out of the wind. The only caveat with hammock camping in Newfoundland especially is that, I mean, right now we're in a big forest with loads of trees, big trees that we could use a hammock in. But then there are a lot of areas in Newfoundland, especially when you get up into higher terrain, out in the barrens, where there are no trees or very short stunted trees, especially like windy areas and stuff. We get a lot of what we call tuckamore, which is short stunted growth. These trees just gnarl around each other, but I mean there's no real trunk of a tree there that you can tie off a hammock to. So I kind of needed a tent, especially now that I have the long range traverse book for the summer. Kind of had to bite the bullet this year and go out and put the hammock to rest for a couple of trips. So I bought a North Face Stormbreak 1. So it's a little small one-person tent. It's not ultra light, but it's so much lighter than what I've been carrying around, even on solo trips. Some of the earlier trips that I went out on, I remember I even carried around, I can't recall if it was a 3-person or a 4-person tent. I found it in the bag downstairs while I was packing up this stuff. I believe it was upwards of 8 pounds just for the tent itself, plus all the other gear. Yeah. I think the Stormbreak is minimum weight of like 2.3, but I think it's pretty much around 3 pounds out of the box, load-out weight. I may be able to improve on that a little bit by upgrading the tent pegs that come with it, the stakes, because they have steel ones in there. I can either upgrade and throw in some aluminum pegs, or for that matter, I can make my own pegs when I come out here. For the long range traverse itself, I probably won't even need tent pegs because they have tent platforms up there. Most because they don't want you camping on the ground. I mean, you probably wouldn't be able to anyway, it's so wet. But this is the breeding ground for so many different species, caribou and moose and ptarmigan and Arctic hare, and they want to minimize the impact. They don't want people setting up tents wherever they feel like it. So they kind of keep things regulated that way, which is great too, which is what keeps it as a backcountry hike. Thanks, plane. What was that? Grouse? Grouses have been scaring the shit out of me all day. If you're not familiar with a grouse, they're a small bird about the size of a chicken. They just live wild around here. They're delicious. Usually when you see them, they're on the side of trails. They're off just in the woods, walking around, eating and doing whatever grouse do in the woods. But it's when you startle them, they start to fly. It sounds like a helicopter taking off next to you, and I have cursed many times after being scared shitless by a grouse. So it's getting later in the day. I'm getting hungry. Fire's dying down. I'm thinking I'm going to make a little bit of dinner. Got some dehydrated chili. Another new upgrade this year. The cook set that I was lugging around in the woods was ridiculous. It was actually another GSI that I've had for years, but it was the one of the base camp. I think it was the Boogaboo series that had 2 pots, 2 lids, cutting board. Worked great, and I still have it and still use it for certain things. But I mean, it's more meant for car camping than walking through the woods. This is the GSI Pinnacle Soloist. Beautiful set, super lightweight. Comes with a cup, so I don't need to bring that, even though I always bring one of these Sea to Summit collapsible cups. It's insulated. The reason I still take this is because it does have measurements on the inside of the cup, but I've grown to love this collapsible cup. It makes just enough coffee. I think it's two cups it'll hold. So if I'm drinking 2 cups of coffee at a time, I know it's going to be a good day. But anyway, I'm going to boil up some water. I believe this is one of those Amazon stoves, but for the price, works great. Lightweight, collapsible, has got an igniter built into it, and for an application like this, when I'm just trying to boil some water to rehydrate a meal, this is all that you need. Bit too far. I think I just need 1.5 cups of water. That should be good. We'll give that a minute, let that boil, and then we'll make some dinner.
That time I got stalked by a grouse. How close can we get to a grouse? Will the grouse attack me? There's no need to run. Stay here with me. I'm making chili. You'll love it, it's delicious. Although I believe it's made with turkey. Could be one of your cousins.
Yeah, we're almost there. So I've been working on some dehydrated meals at home. So this is a new one that I haven't tried yet. This is if I remember correctly, it's a turkey chili. Very low in fat, so it dehydrates well and keeps very well. So I've got 1.5 cups of water boiling there, but 350 ml. So as soon as that's pretty much to a boil now. Vacuum sealed. Last even longer. Let's cut open here. Make sure we don't lose any plastic. Take all that back out with us. Turn off our stove. I'm going to let's get all of this into the water. Get in there. Make sure we take this out with us. Give that a stir and give that about 10 minutes to rehydrate. Then dinner time. My favorite part of hiking trips. Some people do gear reviews. I do beer reviews. So I did bring 2 in with me because again, there was a possibility I was staying overnight. So 1 for supper, 1 for sipping on around the fire later on tonight. That's not the case because spring is not cooperating in Newfoundland. So I think I'm still going to have one with supper. This one here is Ransack the Universe from Collective Arts. I believe that's in Ontario somewhere. Hamilton, Ontario. Collective Arts Brewing. I have had this one several times. I love it. So this one was probably going to be my supper beer because I know I like it. But I think I'll bring that guy home with me to enjoy it this evening while I'm sitting on my couch in the warmth of my own home and not sleeping in a pile of snow. Instead, I brought this one, which, as far as I remember, I don't think I know I've seen this one in stores before, but I haven't tried it. I know it caught my eye because Joe Robinette had it on one of his videos. I don't know if a viewer sent it in or if he just brought it on a trip. I can't recall. But this one was brewed by Omnipolo. It's an India Pale Ale, Stockholm, Sweden, and Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So I'm assuming this one's, yeah, it says product of Canada. So, but it's the Omnipolo Zodiac. And anything that comes in a black can, I'm going to buy it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird like that. Hopefully you guys can hear me from all the way over there. I put you guys over on the other side of the clearing. We'll see how good the new mic is. Get all the sticks off here. You're going to be my dinner beer. That is totally different than I expected. Sort of like a wheat beer, but it's almost like it tastes like grapefruit. That's what's coming to my mind. Some sort of citrus, like grapefruit. Well, you're going to be delicious.
It is still winter up here. Ponds are still frozen for the most part. This is not the pond that I was intending on camping on. This is a small one next to the transmission line. But still.
Yeah, so this is not Breeches Pond. My plan today was to hike into Breeches Pond, which is actually just over that hill. I tried to get up over the hill, but the snow is up past my knees, and it's been warm all day. It's just too hard to walk through. I was speaking to somebody who is in here on an ATV, who actually has a cabin on the pond that I was intending on camping on. He turned around. He had stopped his ATV and walked in a good ways, but decided that it's not even worth it at this point. He said there's still ice in the pond, and based on his knowledge of the trail that runs into his cabin, there's still way too much snow to get in and do anything sensible in there. So apparently it's still winter. Our backyard, which is usually well into June before all of the snow is gone, is even completely melted. So I was really hoping that this had melted down a lot more than it has, but it's not. That's alright, there's lots of summer left. This is only May 2-4 weekend in Newfoundland, so I guess it was wishful thinking to think that I could get out here and do an overnight tonight. I'm gonna go back to camp. I'm gonna eat my dinner, which is hopefully rehydrated by now. Then I'm gonna pack up my gear and take my time and walk out. I'm hopefully gonna find that caribou on the way out that I missed. He was so sneaky. Temperature's gone down a lot since the sun went in. Let's see, taste test. Well, that came back really nice. A little too much water. I've only recently started rehydrating some different meals, but I guess it's a bit of trial and error. So I'll just have to make a note of that now before I go. But other than that, it's actually rehydrated perfectly and it tastes delicious. Cheers. I'm going to finish this up, then I'm going to get packed up, and we'll start making our way out through. So I'm all packed up, I've got everything cleaned up, and we're heading back out through the wonderful deep snow again. Thanks so much for coming along. I hope you enjoyed it. Still trying to determine what exactly a lot of these videos are going to be. This one was completely up in the air because, like I said earlier, I just didn't know what the weather was going to be like. Didn't know how much snow I was going to be dealing with. But if anything, it was we'll call it a bit of training for the long range. I'm gonna have to do a lot more of these hikes before I'm up to the point for hiking 3 days straight, or 3 to 5 days straight. I love overnight trips a lot more than quick walks in the woods, but then this was a lot of fun too. Still got to have a fire, got to catch some food. You guys got to come with me, which was great. Hopefully you guys hit that subscribe button down in the bottom, and you know, next time I come in to do something in the woods, whatever that may be, you guys can come along and check it out. Alright, I'm gonna go walk through some more snow and climb down a mountain. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Are you still recording? You're still recording. Awesome.